A Hypocrite's Diary, Releasing Toxic Patterns and Relationships by Tara Tales. Dedication. I dedicate this book to my dad, Reginald Dwayne Johnson. His absence from my life precipitated the experiences detailed in this book. I do not blame him, but I am ready to acknowledge the trauma so that I can begin to heal internally in order to manifest the life that I truly deserve to live. I am forever grateful for all the experiences that I have gone through and grown through. Behind many smiles and laughter is pain being disguised or suppressed. The fact that my father has not yet been able to recover from his childhood trauma has a significant impact on the pain he has experienced and continues to experience. We can only be our best selves when we're able to get to know who we are and analyze why we are the way that we are. Those mentioned in these pages to follow subconsciously molded me into a person I no longer identify with. In order to empower myself and give voice to childhood trauma, I'm calling back the energy and love I left behind with these men. For all those experiencing scenarios similar to the ones detailed in this book, let this serve as a blueprint on how to decode your life so that you can begin to trace the root cause of your pain and begin to heal for a better tomorrow. Endless love, y'all. Peace. This is the story of a young woman with daddy issues and mommy, auntie, and cousin issues. These bitches in my family, and I mean that with the utmost respect. It just sounds funky when you add the B word in there. Well, they did a number on me, that's all I'm gonna say. I learned a lot, I saw a lot, which helped me avoid, understand, and grow a lot at a very young age. The subconscious trauma, on the other hand, I was completely unaware of. All I know is that certain things seem to keep manifesting with these relationships that I have had. I can only attribute it to the things that I learned consciously from others' lessons and the things that were subconsciously programmed into me as a child. Now that I am aware of what subconscious programming is, I can clearly see how I have been magnetizing these experiences into my life because of a lifestyle that lacked many things during childhood. Don't worry, it will all become clear soon. There wasn't a heavy male presence in my maternal family, not even uncles. I didn't even have uncles on my daddy's side. Everything I learned about how a woman should be treated, I learned from the women on my mother's side. The good, bad, and indifferent. So it took for me to examine their qualities and characteristics to see what could have been impressed upon me and sincerely question whether or not those same attributes are being expressed in me now. I was given an awesome framework riddled with holes, but I also chose those holes so that they could do exactly what they did, help me to awaken and open my eyes to the fact that I am the one who is in control of my life. And if I wasn't, I wanted to be. It never quite made sense to me that I was born to have no control or very little control over my life. I constantly search for the answer as to how to gain more control over my life. By revisiting the experiences that have traumatically shaped and formed me, I now understand how it was all done for my greatest good. While simultaneously, I am learning to forgive myself for the mistakes that I've made, which were mistakes. They were just lessons. My mother was correct when she heavily impressed upon me how perceptive I was as a child. I never really acknowledged that about myself, but she was right. I am very perceptive. My discernment was off, though, especially when it came to matters of the heart. I would fight tooth and nail for the most toxic shit because of what I've been exposed to. On the flip side of it, my upbringing has made me financially astute and prosperous at a young age. Once I began to ask myself what I was doing wrong, the answers started to flow. Along my spiritual journey, I have rediscovered the seven hermetic principles that affect all of creation, either consciously or not. The first principle is that the mind is all and the universe is mental. My understanding of this principle tells me that anything in my personal reality is a reflection of what my mind believes to be what I want. Since my love life, especially, was no reflection of what I consciously said I wanted, it was high time I addressed my mind and learned how it works. In order to do that, I had to remember through research and intuition who the fuck I really was. But that came at a price. My ego. It had to suffer. Relationships had to be reanalyzed. I was ready to move out of my struggle love era of life. According to the way the brain works, it is really the subconscious mind that runs the show. The subtle part of your awareness that notices all things at once and stores them deep down in your memory. The stronger the emotional attachment, the heavier the impact on the mind. Emotions are attached to the reactions, which are also stored in the same way. In order to change my romantic outcome, I must change my mindset. And that was the hardest part. I have been living this way my entire life. Not to mention that thus far I thought I had been doing it right. That's the part of my ego that had to die in order to learn a new way of thinking and then make just as strong of an impact to replace the previous input. I was born a Scorpio on a Two of Diamonds day with the 8 life path number. Metaphysically speaking, by tapping into my intuition and using my emotions for the greatest good, I'm supposed to be abundantly living. Numerology says a life path of 8 will do well in business. Financial abundance is my birthright. In cardology, the Two of Diamonds is also a deal maker, a master negotiator, and the card for the word billionaire. I was destined for abundance, and it was time that I stopped sleeping on myself. I'm ready to collect all the time, energy, and emotions that have left scars and transmute that into positive energy to thrive now. I'm tired of living off pain. That was all I knew. So the beginning is where I had to start. You must address the foundation of any temple so the rest of the house doesn't crumble. It appears that I was desperately trying to fix those cracks within me, yet failing miserably. So if you're brave like me, take the sincerest journey with me on how I began to address the limiting beliefs that have been ignored by me, both indirectly and directly. I hope that after you read this book, you will understand how to better uplift yourself emotionally to the frequency of love. Holistically, I am here to release myself from the shackles of my shadow side by acknowledging the light gained from the darkness. My goal is to impart growth and development to myself and everyone else. Ashe.